when you look on what we did last time, it was just a formation or the determination of or differentiating what is an independent dependent variables. And I remember very well that we were supposed to be coming up with an equation. I'm also aware that we are able to understand on how we should be able to handle these questions using our calculator. But I wanted us to move on to do an appraisal method. Then later on, we shall be able to look on multiple regression together with an example for multiple regression. Later on, we shall engage ourselves to a very busy area. I'm hoping we are ready. Today, we are running to till down. Remember that we are supposed to be engaging on a topic called a subtopic called learning curve, which is very mostly tested, and we are going to be staying there for some time today to be able to do a lot of questions. Maybe we shall be pulling our socks and start doing from 2012 upward up to date to determine whether we can be able to understand the concept of the learning curve. Then after the finalization of this topic, I think if we shall be having at some time, we shall be able to start another topic, decision theory, and then we shall see where we shall reach today. I'm hoping we are having a good week for where we are engaging ourselves with revision. I'm aware that we don't have much time for this. So I want to start quickly by looking on the appraisal method of all the regression equations that we have formulated. And we are saying that we normally have the three major aspects of regression model appraisals. So we normally have economic plausibility, we have the good of fit test, and then we have specialization analysis. But here mostly we are borrowing some concept from quantitative analysis, but it is not commonly used under advanced level, but your syllabus requires it to be covered. So under the economic plausibility, we are saying the model is used for prediction and must portray economic relationship between the two variables. So it is possible for the model to have the variable changing by chance. So the principle is that a high correlation does not necessarily imply caution. If the change in the predictor variable leads to an automatic change in the response variable, then there is a caution between the variable. We are looking on what is the relationship which is existing between the two, and that is why we are saying we are supposed to be having an economic relationship. I think the economic plausibility was able to explain on the aspect of production, where I said that most of the organizations normally, basically for production, they normally look on the budgeted value in which they have. This budgeted value they are going to be using, for instance, to be able to determine the number of products in which they are supposed to be producing. So it depends on what they are. They might be producing cement, they might be producing cooking oil, they might be producing any type, but basically we have to be looking on the resources that an organization has pulled in to determine how much can we be able to produce. Remember, this concept is well analyzed under the concept of determination of what we are supposed to be the determination of what we want to meet in the market. So that is the concept that we are looking economic, because we have to be checking on the majority of the we have to be looking on the majority of aspects which are affecting the prices of the commodities, and we engage so much in economics. So we are not going to be going there. So what you just need to understand is that every moment you are going to be formulating an equation, it should be showing a relationship which is existing between the dependent variables. That is what you need to understand. So when you look on the goodness of the fit, where the equation that you are formulating should be fitting the data in which already you are using to formulate. Remember, one of the advantages that we have for regression analysis that we say that it is basically a method that you can use for efficiency and reliability. The reason is because you can be able to use all the data values and then you formulate an equation. So the equation that already you have formulated, it feeds that data. That is why we are talking about the goodness of the fit. Now, in that concept, we are going to be learning that we are supposed to be focusing our attention to looking on how is it the goodness divided, and we are saying it is normally divided into two. Number one, we normally have the whole equation measures, which is normally subdivided into three. The correlation of determination. We normally have the standard error of estimate, and then we have the hypothesis testing. The other one, for example, we are looking on the other area. The other example, we normally have the slope measure. I know very well you had a method called correlation, coefficient correlation, which is our R. You had about F statistic test, and then we have another one called the standard error of slope. So those are the things that we are borrowing from QA, but I will not be able to engage to them. So we are saying that it gives us an indication of reliability of the estimate of the total costs based on the regression equation, but it does not give us an indication of the absolute size of the probable deviations of the line established. These are the things that we are supposed to be not focusing so much attention here, because we just borrow this concept from QA, and because you know very well that your syllabus is borrowing a lot from QA, advanced FM, not advanced but financial management, and also the MA, the one that you did on the lower level. So you need to be combining all that knowledge to be able to understand that we need it. For example, I will give you an example as to why. When you are doing December 2021 questions, you could be able, they are combining the time value of money when you are calculating your learning curves. So it means I need to be understanding what is the time value for money and how is it going to be affected, because you see the time value of money is sometimes we can use it when we are calculating the net present values, that is NPV, and therefore we really know very well that the NPVs is about the cash inflow and the cash outflow, the difference that you are going to be getting. So we normally look on if the NPV is positive, that is the decision criteria, we accept. If it is negative, we reject the project, and if it is zero, it is at a different point. So those are the things that we are saying. But in real sense, when we are appraising the model, in this case, we are trying to borrow some concepts that, for instance, in some way, it will be able to understand why do we normally formulate these equations. Why do we normally talk about the dependent? Why do we normally say we have dependent variables? And then why do we normally formulate those equations? So that is the thing. That is appraisal model, but it is not much, or it has never been tested at your level. So it means that it has just been included, but not yet utilized. Now, I want to engage on the second method of regression, and we are going to be discussing about the multiple regression analysis. And the multiple regression analysis, they had already tested only one question that we shall be able to look at it later after we understand the concept of the multiple regression and how we should be able to formulate the equations. Because we know that in September 2015, they were able to show us how we are supposed to be having these how this model is normally tested in an exam. It is a computer printout questions, and therefore it needs that we don't need to cram at this stage, because we just need a clear indication of understanding. Now, when we look at the multiple regression, it normally means that we have more than one independent variable. Now, in this case, we say that it is a method of cost estimation which is used to form a linear equation with more than one independent variable. Here, it should be independent variable. It should be forming which has more than one independent variable. I think it should be affecting my notes somehow. I will be able to include it before I share the notes. Now, when you look at it, the general formula for the multiple regression, it is not the summation. It is not supposed to be the summation of y. It should be y is equals to a, which is a constant, plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 all the way, because we are dealing with more than one independent variable. It means they are not restricted. There can be 10, 50, infinite. We know that the independent variable, they can be more. And therefore, that is where we are saying at this stage, a, b1, b2 are constants, x1, x2 are independent variables. And then from that point, we really understand that even our y is dependent variable, which is not indicated there. I will be able to indicate later. Now, to get the equations, I want to be able to teach you how to get these equations without cramming. I will be able to formulate them, so that when you look on the concept of the multiple regression, whether it is at MA level or at the CPA level, or you shall be able to find it at a degree level. For example, in a unit called econometrics, introduction to econometrics, or business statistics, management maths, and so on, you will be able to understand how to formulate these equations. You're not going to be having much, just a revision at those stages. So I want to teach you how to do it. Now, let me share my board. Let me share my board with you. Can you see the board? Will you be able to see the board? Do you see the board? Purity? Purity, can you hear me?
Yes, I can see it.
Good. So to formulate our equations, because we are looking on how we can be able to formulate our equations, I will be able to tell you that to get my first equation, and I want you to write this, because we shall be able to use it when we are doing our illustrations. So to get the first equation, I will be able to use the formula that we normally get our value of A under the simple regression equation. So to get our A, we normally take the summation of y minus b, the summation of x. We divide by n. Very simple concept. What you need to know is that our equations under the multiple equations are normally equated to x, to y, sorry, to y. And therefore, because you know the general formula is equals to y is equals to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2, all the way we go to bn xn. That is what we discuss. So in this case, because my multiple equations are equated to y, I want also to equate this to y. And I will say, make the summation of y the subject. I want to make the summation of y the subject. And in this case, what are we going to be having? I just need to cross multiply. So we shall have an, which is equal to summation of y, minus b, the summation of x. So the question that I'm supposed to be having in my mind, what is my y? So in this case, I will take my b, x1 on the other side. So it will be an plus b, the summation of x, which is equals to summation of y, which is equal to summation of y. So what are we asking ourselves? We are dealing with more than one independent variable. So it will be, our summation of y will be equal to an plus b1 summation of x1 plus b2 the summation of x2. You can go all the way to bn, the summation of xn, the summation of xn. That is our first equation. That is our first equation. So our second equation, it will be, we take our general equation. So we take y is equals to a plus b1 summation of x1 plus b2 summation, no summation, but x2. Then this one we multiply with summation of x1. You multiply by summation of x1. So if you try to open your brackets, we are going to be having summation of x1y, which is equals to A, the summation of x1 plus b1, the summation of x1 squared plus b2, the summation of x1, x2. And this becomes your second equation. Then the last one, I also take my general equation where we are discussing about y is equals to A plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2. But in this time, we multiply by summation of x2, the summation of x2. So in this case, we are going to be, open your brackets, we are going to be having summation of x2y, which is equals to A, summation of x2 plus b1, the summation of x1, x2 plus b2, the summation of x2 squared, right? And then this becomes your third equation. Now, rather than cramming, you can be able to use that criteria to determine your formulas or to come up with your formulas. Is it okay? Is it okay? Robert, is it okay? Moro is saying okay. Purity, is it okay? Have you written everything? Have you written everything?
Yes, it's okay.
Very nice. So I want to proceed by looking on an illustration and see how can I be able to apply these formulas. How can I be able to apply these formulas right now? Because I know already you have written the formulas. So how can I be able to get the question and complete it? It might not be at this stage, right? It might not be at this stage. Whether at university level, maybe at degree or master's, you're going to be coming across these units if you are going to be specializing in finance. You're going to be specializing in finance, you have to come across these problems. So let's look on illustration there. Illustration. Great. So an illustration, in this case, illustration. Let's look on illustration here. Illustration. And now we have to be given our independent variables. So in this case, we are going to be having x1 here, we have x2, and then we have our y. So we might be having 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 3, 5, 7. Also, we can also have 1, 0, 1, 0, 9. We have 10 or 13. We might be having 15 or 17, right? We can use 20, 24, 26. That is okay. That is okay. Then the required here. Required. You are being told to formulate a multiple regression equation. Formulate a multiple regression equation. Formulate a multiple regression equation. Now, in this case, let me first write my equations. Equation number 1, we said we normally take the summation of y, which is equals to an plus b1, the summation of x1, plus b2, the summation of x2. My equation 2, we said we normally take the summation of 1y, summation of x1, summation of x1, sorry. So summation of x1y, which is equals to a, the summation of x1 plus what? b1, the summation of x what? x1 squared plus b2, the summation of x1, x2. Then my third equation, we have said we take the summation of x2y, which is equals to a, the summation of x2 plus b1, the summation of x1, x2, right? Plus b2, the summation of x2 squared, the summation of x2 squared. So let's look on how can I be able to come up with these requirements. I see the first one is the summation of y, and then I'm asking you to give me the answers. So that is the summation of y, you'll be able to get there. Then our n, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can be able to determine that very fast. The summation of x1, I have it here also. And then we have the summation of x2, which I will be able to get there, right? But when I look on the second equation, it requires me to multiply x1y. x1y. I will be able to multiply it. Then we have the summation of x1 squared, right? The summation of x1 squared. Then we have the summation of x1, x2. And then we shall be able to come up with the second equation. Then the third equation, it requires me to do what? To multiply x2y. 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 Then the other one requires to multiply x1, x2, which I have. Then the last thing that we shall do, it is x2 squared. x2 squared. The x2 squared. Someone to give me x1y. Just want to unmute to give me the answers for x1y. Purity, if you can. Purity? Maura, if possible, can you give me the answers?
12, 96, 21, 9, 2, 2, 1, 5, 20.
I've been 12, 96,
96, 21,
21,
9, 2, 2, 1,
9, 2, 2, 1,
5, 2, 0.
5, 2, 6. Thank you.
0.
Thank you. X1 squared?
5, 2, 0.
5, 2, 0.
Yes.
Thank you. 5, 2, 0. Someone else? X1 squared?
464.
464.
9, 1.
9, 1.
169.
2, 400.
400.
Thank you. Then X1, X2, we have 8. right? We have 80, 15, 0. The last one I know is 480.
195.
195. X2y I know is 24. 120. 24, 120. 35, 0. 35, 0. 15 by 17.
255.
255.
Yes.
Then the last one.
624.
624. The last one, 1600. 25, 0. We also have 225, if I'm not wrong. 24 squared.
576.
576. 576. 576. So in this case, I just need to get the summations from Maura. Give me the summations. Let's start here.
$879.
Where?
X1Y.
X1Y. How much?
879.
879.
Yes.
Purity, you are not here?
16, 13, 14, 27 plus 20, 47. X1.
47.
X1, yes. 14, 19, 34, 58, X2.
58. Y.
18, 25.
Why 77?
77, good. X1, 2.
X2 squared, 942.
942, thank you.
No, X2 squared, the last one.
Thank you, thank you. How much?
942. Second last, 1058.
1058. X1, 2.
X2.
778.
778.
X1, X2. X1, X2.
Then the X1 squared.
$647.
647.
647.
Thank you, Purity. 647. This is 647. Thank you. Now, I want to formulate my equations. So we start with the first equation. The summation of y, which is 77, which should be equal to, my n I said is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 6a plus b1, the summation of x1, which you told me is 47, b1, right? Then we have the summation of b2 plus 58, right? b2. The second equation, I will take the summation of x1y, which is 879, which is equals to the summation of x1, 47a, plus summation of x1 squared, I was able to get 647, b1, plus summation of x1, x2, we're going to be having 778, b2, b2. Then the other one, I'm going to be having the summation of x2y. The summation of x2y, you told me is 1058. which is equals to 1058, the summation of x2, which is 58a, plus summation of x1, x2, you have told me is 778, b1, plus the other one, the summation of x2, which is 942, b2, 942, b2. So those are my equations. So the question that I'm supposed to be asking myself, how am I going to be getting the values of unknowns? Remember, these are your unknowns. And then you said, for example, through the definitions are your constants. So how am I going to be getting the solutions for A, B1, B2? I will be able to tell you when I have more than two or more than one unknown, we can use elimination method. So to get the point for the elimination method, I will request to allow me to delete some of the data that already we have gotten, and then we should continue because my board image there. So let me delete the upper area so that we can work on the elimination methods. So the first equation was what? 77 is equals to 6a
Plus 14b
plus
47b plus 52b2. Yeah.
52.
Sir.
Thank you. So if I want to eliminate, for example, we shall be able to eliminate our A. I will take the first equation minus the second equation, right? But before we reach there, you normally write the two equations like that. So here we have 479A plus 647 B1 plus, was it 778? 778 B2. So how am I going to be eliminating our A? This should be 47, sorry, 47A. So how am I going to be eliminating my A? I will be able to come here and multiply the first equation with 47. And then the second equation, I multiply it with 6 to make them equal. Right? To make them equal. So 77 times 47 is how much? Let us open our brackets. 77 times 47.
3619.
3619 is equals to? Is equals to what? 6 times 47 is how much? We are opening the bracket. So the values, we are going to be multiplying all of them by 47. 6 times 47 is how much? No answer?
282.
282, thank you. A 47 squared?
$2209.
2209 B1 plus 58 times 47?
2726.
2726 B2. Then let us go to the second equation. 879 times 6.
5274.
5274, thank you, is equals to 282A plus 647 times 6. 647 times 6 is how much?
3882.
3882. 3882. B1 plus what? Plus what?
4668 B2.
4868 B2.
4668.
4668. Thank you. So subtract. Let us subtract. Let us subtract. Let's start from here. 3619 minus 5274.
Negative 1655.
Which is equals to, I know this is 0. 2209 minus 3882. We get negative what? 2209 minus 3882.
Negative
1673.
16
73.
73 B1. Then 2726 minus. We get negative what?
1942.
1942. Thank you so much. B2. Remember now, this is our first equation after elimination of A. So if I divide both sides by negative, you're going to be having 1655 is equal to 1673 B1 plus 1942 B2, right? We just have an equation without negatives because all the negative is cutting across. So it's just like taking this on the other side and then bringing 1655 on the other side also. There's a good definition. So the other thing that you're supposed to be having to get the second equation, we shall take the second equation minus the third equation. So in this case, I just take 879, which is equals to 47A plus 647 B1 plus, I think was 778 B2. Then the other one is 1058 is equals to 58A plus 778 B1 plus 942 B2. We also eliminate our unknown. And our unknown, we eliminate our A also. So let us eliminate our A. So it means here, the first equation I multiply by 58. And the other one we multiply by 47. Let us open our brackets. So 879 times 58. 879 times 58. How much are we getting?
5982.
4982. Thank you.
5982.
59.
50982.
Thank you. Is equals to?
Mwalimu.
Yes.
50982.
50982. Thank you. 47 by 58.
2726.
27
26.
plus
37 526.
37
526.
526
Yes.
B2 B1, sorry, plus what?
45 124.
45 124
Yes. B2.
B2. So let us go the last one. 1058 by 47. How much are we getting?
$49 726.
Is equals to
Obviously, 27, 26A.
27, 26A
Yes.
plus
36, 566, B1.
36
566,
B1, thank you, plus
44 to 74, B2.
274 B2. Let us subtract and eliminate our A fully. So once we, how much is this? Positive what?
1256.
1256 is equals to what? 37, 526 minus 36, 566.
$960.
960 B1,
Yeah, yes.
right? Plus
850.
850 B2. Thank you very much. So this is our second equation. So in this case, I have eliminated A. I continue with the elimination. So I take my first equation, I subtract also my second equation to be able to eliminate one unknown. I just want to remain with one so that I can be able to once I get the value of one, then I can be able to substitute for the others. So in this case, I just need to come here and I take what? 1655, which is equals to 1673 B1 plus 1942 B2, right? Then I take the second one, which is 1256, which is equals to 960 B1 plus 850 B2. So the same case, we eliminate what? Let now eliminate our B1. Let's eliminate my B1. So I multiply my first equation and the second equation. So here I multiply with 1673 and then multiply with 960. Multiply with 960. Someone to give me the first one?
1588, 800.
Sorry?
1588, 800.
Is equals to what?
160608.
Please. You have told me is 1588, 800.
Yes.
Which is equals to
1606 08.
1606
08.
1606 08.
0. Yes, 080. Yeah.
B1 plus
1864 320.
1864 320 B1 B2, sorry, B2. The second equation, the second one,
2101 280.
2101 280 is equals to what?
Obviously 1606.
Thank you. 16 160 80 B1 plus how much? 1673 by 850.
1422,050.
14.
22,050.
1422,050 B2. So let us subtract. Let us subtract. How much is this? This I know is 0. So someone give me this one and this one. Robert, how much is this?
Nimekuwa distracted kidogo. Sorry.
Maura?
The first one is negative 512488.
5124.
88.
88 is equals to what?
442 to 70.
442.
Yes. To
480,
70.
not 488.
Is 14.
Sir. Stamutis.
Yes, yes.
It's a negative 51248. Unless nimefanya vitu zangu.
This one or the one, the last one?
That one, the negative one, 512.
It should be?
512, 480. Not 488.
Thank you. 480, yes. Is equals to 442
To 70.
270 B2. You divide both sides by 442 270. You divide here by 442 270. So B2 is how much? Negative
1.159.
1.16. Let us use that. 1.16. Then we start substituting. I just say substituting for B1. Substituting for B1. So I can take the first equation, 1655, which is equals to 1673 B1 plus 1942 times 1.16. B1 is how much? B1 is how much? Someone, B1? Negative what? Someone, B1? No answer. B1 is no answer.
Is it negative 0.36? I don't know whether I'm correct.
Negative?
0.36.
Someone confirm? Is it like that? Let me hope so. Now let me do the last one. our last constant, which is our A.
Excuse me,
Yes.
that 1.16 was negative, so I'm getting a positive answer.
This one.
1.16, B2.
$15,888,800 minus 21,000. So this already is a negative, right?
No, I'm saying B2 is negative 1.16.
Yes. So here should be positive what?
Mine is positive 2.33.
Positive 2.33. Someone to confirm the answer. I can see yes, that is a good argument because it's negative. You have a negative there, negative 1.16.
Yeah.
2.23.
Yes, 2.33.
33. Now from there, thank you. You substitute for A. You just say substituting for A. So in this case, we say 77 is equal to 6A, which we don't know, plus 47 times the value of B1 is 2.33 plus 58. 58 times the value of B2, which is negative 1.16. Someone to give me the value of A. The value of A. So the value of A is how much? Usiogope, someone to give me the answer. Just give me what you have. A is how much?
$5.8.
5.8.
Yep.
Thank you. So remember, the requirement was to formulate our multiple regression equation. So in this case, our multiple regression equation will be looking like this. You just tell me y is equals to A plus B1x1 plus B2x2. So in this case, we are going to be having our y now, which we are going to be taking our constant A, which is 5.8, B1, which we have gotten 2.33, right, x1, plus our B2, which was negative what? Which was negative 1.16 x2. This is how we normally formulate multiple regression equations. Multiple regression equations. Multiple regression equations. Are we together up to that point? Is it okay?
Yes.
Good. I want to look on September 2015 before we get out of this issue of multiple regression. I want us to do serious things. So let's look on September 2015. September 2015. September 2015. Where can I find mine? So we have September 2015. This should be question 4C. Question 4C. When I'm looking on that question, I'm seeing good things there. Remember, we have been told to explain the importance or recognize the effects of the learning curve when preparing performance reports. We shall go there. And explain how the companies might introduce a cost reduction program without affecting its customers' perception of product value. This is a question of application. For example, we might be changing the suppliers. Remember the new suppliers who are engaging in the production of the new products. They might be having the lower products, the lower offer price, and therefore not affecting the quality of the product. How companies may introduce a cost reduction program? That might be one. So you are going to be looking on the others. We have a lot of good points there that you can be able to. It is just a general question that you can get any point. Now, when you look on part C, we are being told, because this is a September 2015 question, 4C question, we are being told, Robert can read for us.
The finance director of Estimator Solutions Limited have availed to you the following data for a company. The company has one single manufacturing department. The cost data available relate to the last 16 months as follows: departmental overhead costs, direct labor hours, direct material quantity in kilograms, number of orders processed.
Thank you. So at that point, before we go to any other thing, you can see that we have been told the cost data available relate to the last 16 months as follows. So it means this organization is stable when they are using the direct labor hours, direct material quantity, and then we have the number of orders processed, right? So any question that you're going to be formulating without any, right, we cannot be able to rely upon for decision making. That is the first thing that you're supposed to be looking at. Because if we eliminate any, whether it is the direct labor, whether it is material, whether it is the number of orders, will be affecting the overall departmental overhead costs. That is the first thing that you are supposed to be understanding. So we have been told number 3, a company program has been used to analyze the above data. So the results are as follows. So when I look on this regression, a big given the regressions, we have the dependent variables, which we are going to be picking there. We have your dependent variables, which are denoted by x's. We have our coefficients, right? The standard errors and the t-values. But in this case, remember, the coefficients you know very well. That is a B1, B2 on. But we are not given our A in this scenario, right? So you can see the overhead given, the side of the y, which is our y-intercept. You can see it there. Then we have been told very clearly that we have 4 equations. Because the regressions are 4, then it means we have 4 equations. And then these equations, we are going to be interpreting them, right? How are they reliable for decision making? So we have equation 1, we have equation 2, equation 3, equation 4. When you look on all the equations, on the side of the dependent variable, the first equation is efficient because it has factored all the 3. Equation 2, you can see it has eliminated 1 of the dependent variable. Then equation 3 and 4, respectively, they have eliminated 1 independent variable. I think in equation 4, it should also be labor hours, which has been eliminated. You can see it here. So in this case, we shall be able to look on the solution on that. Then we have been told the coefficient of correlation between the variables we have been given there, but they are not going to be affecting your solution. So the most reliable estimate of reasonable experience overall cost function, and then we are going to be justifying our answer, determining if the equation will be providing a useful prediction of overheads that might be experienced next month, and then explain the purpose for which the managers must use the predicted equation. Then I will take you back to this level, right? So in this case, I know that you have your past paper. So I want us to formulate these equations, right? You know the general formula for general formula for multiple regression equation. So it will be assisting you to tackle this question. It will be assisting you to tackle this question. So let us look at it. Let us look at it. Let us look at it. So in this case, we are doing September 2015. September 2015, question number 4C. September 2015, question 4C. Na kazi imeanza. We are going now to be started doing a lot of questions. No illustrations, maybe few from some time back. But now we have started doing our questions in this past paper. I'm aware that we are going to be doing a lot of the questions here. Now, in this scenario, I want to come up with the first equation because you know the general equation of ours in a namna hii, y is equals to a plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2. It goes all the way to bn xn. So this is the concept that I'm going to be following. I know very well that a is not included in that analysis, right? Because of the independent variables. And then in our scenario there, they are 3. So I will just take and go straight to take the y-intercept in the first equation. So the y-intercept in that equation, it equates to 12,052,000. 12,052,000, right? We should be equal to, remember, the coefficients are given. So the first coefficient is 8.50 x1 plus 695.95 x2 plus 6.59. Someone can be able to ask me, where are these things coming from? The x represents the independent variables. We have the independent variables which are labor, materials, and orders. They are being represented by these x's. The coefficients you can see very well. We have b1, b2, and we can continue all the way to bn. So through that equation, I want to do my interpretation. I want to carry out my interpretation. And my interpretation will be looking like this. I will just be able to explain to this examiner that the predicted overhead cost function, the predicted overhead cost function, the predicted overhead cost function takes into account direct labor hours, we take the direct labor hours, direct material, we take to direct material, and the number of orders. The number of orders. So the estimated cost is high. The estimated cost is high, which is good for prediction. This equation, therefore, is giving us a reliable what? This equation is therefore giving you a reliable estimate. This equation is giving you a reliable estimate. That is how you're supposed to be answering. Why are we talking about a reliable estimate? Right? Because it has already factored the labor hours, material hours, and the number of orders. Those are the things that this organization is using. So that is why we have said this equation, as for example, we have said the predicted overhead cost function takes into account the 3 variables which are best used in this organization in determination of the departmental cost. That's equation 1. When you go to the equation 2, I will be able to look on my y-intercept because the regression we are given 4. We're given 4 regressions. So what we're supposed to be doing, I just go straight to the y-intercept and I will be able to see my y is 12,090,000. 12,090,000. We should be equal to, you can see we have y-intercept there. We have my independent variable, sorry. So in the second equation, they have eliminated 1, right? What are they eliminated? They have eliminated the number of orders. So what do we have? I look on the coefficient. They have given me 8.88 x1, right? 88 x1. Then we have 7.6 x2. This is very clear. So when you're explaining your equation, you can just say this. In this equation, very simple. In this equation, the number of orders have been omitted. The number of orders have been omitted. And you say omission of this variable will affect the overall departmental cost. Which is expected to be incurred. So that is the explanation that you're supposed to be giving in the second equation. We can say we are saying they have already eliminated, right? So in this case, for example, if we are looking for the reliable estimate, you can see this equation is not efficient, right? It is not reliable for decision making because they have eliminated one independent variable. Can you see what I'm writing? Can you see what I'm writing?
I can see what you're writing, but I don't understand where you're getting the figures. For example, the second one, 12,090, where is it?
Do you have your past paper?
I do. I don't have 12,090 anywhere.
It should be 12,190. Thank you. It's 12,190. 12,190. Thank you for correction. 12,190,000. Have you seen where it has come from?
Yes.
Good. Any other question? So if we don't have any other question, we can proceed. Someone to give me the third equation. The third equation, someone? Maura, can you give me the third equation? Can you see the y-intercept? Purity?
Yes.
Can you see the y-intercept?
18,277.
Is how much?
16,310.
16,310,000. We should be equal to what?
10.98 x1.
10.98. Thank you so much, x1. And this gives you an easy way to explain. You can just say this. The above equation has excluded two variables. It has excluded two variables. That is direct material Direct material and number of what? Number of what?
Orders.
Good. Number of orders. And you say estimated cost, therefore, the estimated cost, therefore, cannot be relied upon, cannot be relied upon, for what? For decision making. Cannot be relied upon for decision making. Cannot be relied upon for decision making. Then you go to the last one. The last one now. Purity is going to be giving us the last one. The last equation. So the last equation will be
19.277.
19.277.
18.
18.277 is equals to what?
10.68 x1.
10.68 x1, right? So you can just say, what? In this equation, because you just want to be looking the same, you just say, in this equation, two variables have been omitted. Two variables have been omitted. And you say, this must affect the total departmental cost. This must affect the total departmental cost. It will be able to affect the total departmental costs, which is expected to be incurred. Right? So in this case, it means I have to compare now my four equations and give a conclusion. And when I compare the four, I see the first equation as being the reliable for decision making, and therefore I will be able to give this examiner a conclusion. I will be able to give a conclusion. I'll be able to give a conclusion. Be able to give my conclusion very clearly and say this. Give you a conclusion here. Robert, we will say what? We will say what? You will just tell this examiner the most reliable estimated departmental cost, the most reliable estimated departmental cost, the most reliable estimated departmental cost of how much? The first one, which was of 12,052,000. 12,052,000, which was predicted using the first equation, is good for prediction. It is good for prediction. Why? Because it has all the departmental, it has already factored all the departmental It has factored, is it a departmental law we should talk about? It has factored all the independent variables. It has factored all the independent. It has factored all the independent variables, and therefore, at the end of that sentence, we'll be able to get all the marks. I see around 12 marks. I see around 12 marks. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Purity? Is that okay?
Yes.
Good. I'll give you 2 minute break, and then we shift our gears to learning curve. One of good interesting area. So that is over. So we shall be able to embark our energy to look on the learning curve theory and how we can be able to understand it. It is a black spot. You know that very well. Because I know majority of you, you have already done this paper more than once, so you know these are black spots. Therefore, we need to put a lot of energy to it. So some 2 minutes, and then we are back. Doing is for you to understand what is a learning curve theory. I know everybody, every one of you, ananiambianga I'm very busy, mwalimu leo sitawezekana kuingia class. For example, hii wiki hata siwezi onekana, nataka kusoma online because siwezi patikana jioni. That concept is because there is an organization which took you and they saw a potential in you and they tried to use that knowledge that you have, that potential you have, to inject you in their system. So how did this happen? I know very well that majority of us, we were called in those organizations. We were tulifanyiwa induction. After kumaliziwa kufanyiwa induction, we were now being told the induction is for 3 months or 6 months. Thereafter, you are going to be responsible. And this cases normally applies to the production departments. Sisi kama accountants, we normally know the systems. Haziwezi kosa supplier, haziwezi kosa customers, hatuwezi kosa sales and purchases, regardless of the system which is going to be adopted. And therefore, there is not that much you are supposed to be learning. But ukienda kwa production, for example, mini production manager, nimetoka kwa production of fresh juice, nimeenda kwa production of fertilizer, nimeenda kwa production of cement. The production in those areas I'm supposed to be taught. Okay, I might be having skills, but sijajua venye nyinyi mnatengeneza products, right? If for example it comes a scenario where I'm also aware on how to produce, for example, a fertilizer, right? But sijajua the methods mnafuata, right? Kutengeneza. So I have to be lazima nifanyiwe probation for a certain period, and thereafter naambiwa sasa kazi kwako. Let's see how competent you are. That is a learning curve theory. So it means in a concept of learning curve, we are going to be discussing more about labor. It is a labor intensive thing. So it means that it should be done by the human beings. So that is why we are discussing about a learning curve. So ni wakati wowote naona swali inahusiana na learning curve. Like I will be able to give you an assignment, which is, I know, very difficult, but you will be able to do it. Failure. Next weekend, we shall be revisit. And this question was tested on December 2021. You know very well, majority of us tulifanya. And in 2021, the question wali combine na NPV. Lakini majority of you forgot. You need first to get the present values. You need to do your question, the learning curve, you adjust everything, you get the profits. Then from there, we are going to be looking on the NPV, where we are going to be taking the present value of the cash inflows. Then we subtract our initial outlay. That question I have to do for you. Because they copy pasted from the pilot paper. Nitakufanyia on the next weekend. After wewe, nimeona what you can do. It is good, for instance, to see your capability on these questions. So when you look on the learning curve theory applies to the production of items, which exhibit the following characteristics. One, it is normally made largely by labor. So it means it should be a labor intensive thing. Then number 2, it is a brand new item. So the learning process must stop at a given point. So the learning process will be able to stop. And that is when the organization will be able to define the period and say, after 6 months, the learning ceases. Now, Robert, you have the capability to handle the pressure within the organization. Remember, during this time of probation, the organization will be incurring the expenses. Kama ni kutengeneza kitu imefika mahali uliruka certain stage, imeharibika, remember there was materials which were used. And in this case, you are supposed to be saying, the organization will be able to adopt, will be able to adopt or to absorb those costs, right? Which you are causing during your probation period. After that, nasikianga kwa organizations za production tukiambiwa, andikia huyo, hiyo pesa alifanya na matarau, he knew, right? Mwandikie. And that is what normally happens in the production departments. So the people who are dealing with the machines wanakuwa kwa shida sana. If for example utasahau ama ukuwe na shida tu za kifamilia which is normal, ama uko tuna shida zingine, and then upate tu umefika mahali umesahau a given concept, umeproduce an end product whereas you umeruka a certain stage, kwisha wewe. So wakati for example we are doing some testing before we release to customers, unapatikana hii kitu ionji venye inaonjanga for example kama beverages. So what are some of the formulas that you are going to be using? It is very simple in this case. When you look on these concepts, we are going to be having the average time, right? The average time is always in 2 ways. The examiner might be asking you the average time, right? Other examiner kuuliza the average labor cost. So usiniambie that formula is based on the time. Hiyo formula itumike ku calculate hours peke yake, inatumika to calculate the average costs ama the total costs, right? It should be the average time or the total time, or the examiner might be asking you the average labor costs or the total labor costs. So we are going to be using the same formulas. This should not be the equal sign, this one. And my notes, this one, because kuna formulas used here to come up with this. I don't know whether I can be able to edit. Let me see. I can't, but I will be able to expound it when we are doing questions. So don't mind about it. So Y is our total time. So when our Y is the total time, X is the cumulative units, A the time taken to produce the first unit, and B is our learning curve index. So I want us to do a lot of questions. And within a period of 1 hour, we shall come back here and look on the application of learning curve with businesses. Tutakuwa tumemalizana learning curve. Therefore, tutaangalia serious topics like inventory control decisions. We shall look on serious topics like decision theories. I know you don't like decision trees, but utazipenda, I will be able to show you how to work on them. So let us look on what we have in store. How can I be able to calculate all this? Majority of you will be able to tell me that the concept of learning curve theory, right? Haujawahi elewa. Learning curve theory. Majority of us, hata mimi, tukisoma ilikuwa inanitatiza sana. But I came up to realize that a good concept to read this, number 1, is to do a lot of questions. So the examiner might be asking you the average what? The average time, stroke costs, right? The examiner might be asking me the average time or cost. I have said this is normally denoted by a Y with a hat. And then in this case, we are going to be saying it is AX you raised to power B, right? AX you raised to power B. So in this case, you are supposed to be telling me what is my A, what is my X? Somebody, what is our A, what is our X? I'm waiting for someone to tell me what is my A.
I think A is the average time to produce 1 unit.
Mm-hmm. Is it true? If today you add a question in an exam, umesoma tu the last minute, like what I have done for you, na umeingia kwa mtihani hivi, umepatana na this question, ungefanya nini? Nasema aye, nilikuwa nakumbuka. Right? Nilikuanga nini? So utafanya nini? So utakuja hapo uniambie utakumbuka hiyo siku. I'm very sure. A should be time taken, and this is what we are going to be discussing a lot. Time taken to produce what? The first unit. Right? Remember, I'm giving you a lot of secrets because the examiner might be giving you the first unit, ama the first batch. Examiner normally use those words. You might be using the first unit, the first batch. Then our X, these are cumulative. Cumulative units, right? Then we have our B, which is our learning index. Right? So in this case, sometimes we might not be given these. So how do I normally get our B? We normally take the log of R, we divide by the log of 2. That is how I normally get my B. Sometimes I might not be able to know how do I normally get my B. So it means I'm going to be taking my learning index, my log of R, we divide by log of 2. 2 will remain constant throughout. Then number 2, it means I need to get the total time, stroke sometime costs. So what am I going to be doing? I just take AX, B plus 1. They are very simple formulas. B plus 1. So I'm going to be getting my B. Sometimes some questions might be giving me my B. So I will be able to take my B plus 1. You know very well right now. So I want to start from down there, doing all the questions. And I will be able to reach, I will reach at a certain point. Then nikupe some assignments. So I want us to start to look on some of these questions. Let us look on these questions. So mimi naanzia huku chini kabisa. So hapa ni wapi? June 2005. We'll send you this document. Hawa watu hata wananga time ya kuseti mtihani. Nakuja kama hapa 2004. Uchukua swali zote hapa wanakuletea kwa mtihani. We don't have time. These questions are very many. Hata akienda 2006 anakopi paste hiyo mtihani yote. Nakuja unasema mtihani ngumu, but you have not done that revision. Need to do a lot of questions from these past papers. I know some areas where mutaniambia hapa maisha ni ngumu. Don't mind. Look here. You can see the learning curve. Na zinakuanga na tabia mbaya. They are not always the first questions. Good. So the question is here. They are always the first questions. So November 20.
June.
Sorry for that. November 2012. Jill is coming at the right time, you see. Amejua learning curve imeanza. I don't know nani amemwambia. So in this case, I just want to read that question. Sote tusome hiyo swali. Jill, good evening. Jill. Jill, good evening. Jini kana napitia tu, I don't know whether ananisikia. So let us continue. November 2012, question 1A, right? Maura to read for us. Maura can read for us right now.
November 2012, question 1, Metach Limited is the process of developing a new product branded Valida. During its expected life, it is estimated that 16,000 units of Valida will be sold at a price of $250 per unit. Additional information, the direct material and other non-labor related costs will be 150 shillings per unit through the life of the product. Production is expected to be in batches of 1,000 units through the life of the product. The direct labor cost is expected to reduce due to the effects of learning for the first 8 batches produced. Thereafter, the labor cost will remain the same. Will remain at the same cost per batch as the 8th batch. The direct labor cost of the first batch of 1,000 units is expected to be 120,000. A learning effect of 80% is expected to occur. The learning index for an 80% learning curve is that required average direct labor cost per batch for the first 8 batches, direct labor cost for the 8th batch, contribution to be earned from the product over its lifetime.
Thank you so much. I know that you have this document. Do you have it? Do you have these documents?
I've taken a screenshot.
Let me share it. Let me share it. You can see it. Just open it from your group. A minute, please. Have you seen it? Someone to confirm?
It's there.
It's there. Good. So you can just open a minute. So just open so that we move together. Jill, good evening. Jill, mambo. Jill, we can't hear you, but I know that you are hearing me. So I hope that is okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, good. How have you been?
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think you have some issues with your network.
Oh, I think it's my earphones. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, okay. I can hear you.
Now you have reached somewhere where you can use your pen and calculator?
Yes.
Or you are still listening to me?
No. I have my book and my pen and my calculator.
Good. So open the question. I want us to move very together, but we rush a bit so that we can be able to do majority of these questions. Are we there? So we can continue right now, right? Are we there? More, are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Good, thank you. Let us proceed now. So in this question, I could see that we are being told to calculate the average. I think it was average cost. I think it was the average direct labor costs. And then the other one, we were being told to calculate for the 8th batch and so on and so forth. So the first thing that we're supposed to be doing, I just say, number one, the examiner is asking me for the average direct labor costs. And because we really know that a learning curve is just issues to do with labor cost, because it is labor intensive. So it means I'm going to be using my average time formula, where we said y is equals to ax raised power b, right? Ax raised power b. So my concern, or what I'm supposed to be looking at, what is my a? What is my a? And then I've been told to, I said my a is the time taken to produce the first unit. I'm at the first batch. Now in this case, they have not given me the time. I have been given the costs, right, taken to produce the first batch. That is what the examiner has given me. And in this case, the examiner has given me 120,000 shillings. 120,000 shillings. And in this case, when you look on the question, we see the examiner is asking you for the average direct labor costs per batch for the first 8 batches. So it means our X, which we said is a cumulative unit, it is 8 batches. It is 8 batches. To get my question, I'm supposed to be looking on my B, right? Which is said it is a learning index. How I'm going to be getting our B? We said we normally take the log of R over the log of 2. Sometimes the examiner may fail to give you that answer they have given you, not number 6. So how am I supposed to be getting this? I'm going to be taking the log of 0.8 over the log of 2. The log of 0.8 over the log of 2. How much is this? A log of 0.8. So if the examiner has not given me the learning index, I can be able to calculate. My R is 80%. 80%. The examiner has already given me 80%. Then we have the log of 2. So in this case, we just say log of 0.8, you key in your calculator, and then you give me the answer. What is the answer? Are we getting the same thing? I hope we are getting the same thing, which is negative 0.322. I hope that is what you are getting. Then from there, I say my Y should be equal to my A, which is 120,000. We multiply by the cumulative units, which is 8. But in this case, we raised to power 0.322. Someone to give me the answer in Kenya shillings. Someone to give me the answer in Kenya shillings. What is the answer?
Six one 431.
61?
431.
431. Jill, have you gotten this? You think that is what you have gotten?
Yes.
Thank you. I just need you to be giving or confirming the answers very quickly so we move very fast. We are not where we don't need to waste a lot of time. So when you look on part two, the examiner is asking you to calculate the direct labor costs. The direct labor costs for 8th batch. Remember, this is a 1 batch. So it means from the 9th batch, right, the learning curve will cease. So what is the direct labor cost for the 8th batch? So it means in this case, I'm going to be using the total time formula. Total time, which we said, we normally get it by taking AX B plus 1. B plus 1. Even if I don't know what I'm doing, nasema 2B plus 1 is equals to negative 0.322 plus 1. Hii ni ngapi? Hiyo ni ngapi? Sema ndio hata sielewi sana what I'm doing. So this plus this, you get how much?
0.678.
678, thank you. 0.678. So in this case, to get my total labor, because I have to get the 8th batch, it means I have to calculate the total labor cost for 8 batches. So let us get for 8 batches. How am I going to be getting it? I just need to take 120,000 times 8. You raise to power 0 points. In this case, no negative. 678. How much is this? How much is this? How much is that? How much? Jill, give me the answer. How much is this?
491,446.
491.
447.
447. Right? Then remember we require the 8. Umechukua 0 to 8. Ukapata 491,447. To get the 8th batch, it means I have to subtract the total labor cost. I need now to do the total labor cost for 7 batches. Let us do for 7 batches. I just need to take 120,000 times 7. You raise to 0.678. How much is this? How much is this? How much is this?
48,908.
48.
448,908.
908. Thank you. Once we subtract, we are going to be getting the 8th batch. How much is our 8th batch? How much is this? Our 8th batch is how much?
42,539.
42,539.
539.
Badala mimi ya kufanya hii kazi mingi, mimi naona ni kazi mingi sana. So, if for example I was approaching this question, mimi ningekuja tu niseme, because I need the direct labor cost for the 8th batch, ningekuja niseme, let me just take 120,000 times, you open the bracket. You take 8, you raise to 0.678 minus 7, you raise to 0.678. So can we see whether we are getting the same answer? Whether we are getting the same answer. 8 you raise to 0.678 minus 7. So it means I have to work on this first and then I multiply by 120,000. Is it the same?
Yes.
Good. Good. So wewe ukienda kwa mtihani ujue ile formula utatumia ni yenye unapenda ama yenye una understand. I think this normally comes to 42,538 because of the rounding off errors. It doesn't have any problem. Nobody can penalize you because of one difference of that. So in this case, that is it is done. So already you know I might be using the shortcut ama unataka hii. Ni wewe unachagua. Ni wewe unachagua. Si ndio Jill? That is okay. That is okay. So let us watch the CC to jibu the last one. The last question where we are being told to come up with a contribution to be earned from the product over its lifetime. So in this case, once I get that question, the first thing that I'm supposed to be asking myself, because this examiner is asking me for the total, for the profit, sorry, what is my total labor cost? The total labor cost. And I will just say this. I'll just say this. How many batches do we have? Remember, we are producing 16,000 units. And one batch is containing 1,000. So it means I have 16 batches. I have 16 batches. In this case, I need to calculate fast because I told you, you need to be adjusting your labor every time you are doing a learning curve. So ask yourself, what is the total labor cost? What is my total labor cost? So remember the first 8 is for the learning because I remember that is what the examiner said in note number 3. He said that the direct labor cost is expected to reduce due to the effect of the learning for the first 8 batches produced. Thereafter, the labor cost will remain at the same cost per batch as for the 8th batch. And in this case, it's very simple. So it means I need to factor the total labor cost. The total labor cost for 8 batches. So the total labor cost for the first 8 batches will be somewhere, which we got 491, 447. That is what you got. That is the total labor cost for the first 8 batches. Then the next 8 the next 8 batches, because all the total batch is 16, tumeambiwa the cost will be the same, right? So I just need to take 8 times 42, 539 that you got using the first formula. So 8 times 42, because we have been told the cost for the other batch will be the same. And already we've gotten it. So in this case, I just say 8 batches was for this. And then the second will be 8 times 42, right? Because of the learning effect, it means it has reduced for the next 8 batches. What is the total here? What is the total?
340, 312.
340.
Yes, 312.
312, right? So what is the total labor cost of yours? Total labor cost. What is my total labor cost?
831,759.
831,759. Are we together to that point? Purity. Are we together? Just told me we are together somewhere in the text. Somewhere in the text, you tell me you are okay. So let us come up with a contribution statement. Contribution statement. And in this case, we are going to be having a column of Kenya shillings here. So the contribution, how are we going to be getting it? I'm going to be looking on the number of the units that we are selling. So it means we are being told during its expected life, it is estimated that 16,000 units will be sold. So what are our sales? So let me take my sales. I just need to take 16,000. The selling price per unit we are being given there, which is 250. So once you take 16,000 units times 250, how much are we getting?
$4 million.
4 million. Someone has shouted 4 million. Then to get a contribution, we need to lay the cost. So less our costs. We start with material cost. Our material cost. In additional information, number 1, we are being told the direct material and other labor related cost would be 150 shillings per unit. So I just take the number of the unit that we are selling, 16,000 times 150. Because per unit, the unit will be costing us 150. 150. 150. So 16,000 by 150, how much?
2.4.
2.4 million, thank you. 2.4 million. Then we have our labor cost. Labor cost already tumepata. We have 831, 759. So what is your profits? Because I know there is no any other cost. What is our profits? Purity, what is our profits?
$768,241.
241.
768.
241.
241. 768, 241. That is our profit. Unless you have a question, we can proceed. Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question? Don't fear to ask now, because Castneb will ask you. So do you have a question?
I have a question, though I was not there when you were starting.
Yes.
The 42,539, was it the cost for producing the eighth bunch?
Yeah, it's the cost for the 8th batch.
Why have you multiplied it with 8 again?
Remember, the 8th batch is just one batch. Remember, we have 16 batches. So the examiners told you that from the 9th batch to the 16th batch, the production cost will remain the same. And that is why we calculated and we got 42,539. That cost will remain the same for the next 8 batches. Because the first 8 batches to calculate vizuri, tumepata 491,447. So the next, because at 8, the learning curve sees this. From the 9th to the 16th, the production cost will remain the same. There will be no any variations. Is it fully answered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody with a question? Jill? Jill, do you have a question?
No.
Thank you. So let us proceed. I want to do another question. The question they tested in December 2014. December 2014. December 2014 is when they tested another learning curve question. December 2014. And this question always question 1 so that they confuse you. Ukiangalia hivi, you can't get anything and therefore unaanza kupatwa na wasiwasi. So this is the question Jill can read for us. Jill can read for us. Maybe the first two questions which I'm seeing there, they are very simple and applicable from where we are learning from where we are working from. For example, the real limitations of the management accounting, it is very rigid, right? It is very rigid, and there is no any room for innovation and creativity because these things remain the same throughout. You can't bring new techniques in management accounting, right? Let us proceed. Naonanga mkiweka mambo ya kupita ngumu sana. You can pass these papers because the theory part, unaweza andika dog is equal to dog and you get. Swali yoyote ya theory kwa calculations, munajibingi aje. Because that is a secret area where we normally get a lot of marks. Jill, tusomee swali. December 2014 question 1C.
Okay. Mark Limited has just launched a new car model branded maize. The car passes through to product finishing, which are labor intensive. The following information is available. Number 1, the labor in the assembly process is paid at a standard rate of $12.50 per hour, where the labor in the finishing process is paid at a standard rate of $9.50 per hour. Number 2, experience in manufacturing from other car models show that the use of labor in the assembly process is associated with an 80% learning curve effect, while the use of labor in the finishing process is associated with 90% learning curve effect. The labor usage for the first motor vehicle was as follows: assembly 952 hours, finishing 650 hours. The direct material cost per motor vehicle is estimated at 400,000, and other direct attributable overheads are 200,000 per motor vehicle. In the month of October 2014, the company manufactured 6th and 7th cars after receiving an order from a customer who paid $4 million for the two cars. The learning indices are as follows: negative 0.322 for an 80% learning curve, negative 0.152 for a 90% learning curve. Required, the total profit or loss on the above order.
I need someone like Mwaura to explain to us what is this question asking. Mwaura, explain to us.
Contribution statement.
The contribution profit. So what are we supposed to do?
You will find the cost and the revenue and then you less.
It seems very simple now. Thank you. Now, in this case, when you see this question, the first thing that I told you, any question on the learning curve, you are supposed to be thinking about what is the labor cost. Every time, what is the labor cost? In this case, I've been seeing the examiner is telling you in note number 1 to 3 that the labor in the assembly process is paid at a standard rate of $12.50 per hour. So how many hours do we require? So in this case, we have been, what is the total hours for the 2 cars? So in this case, we have been told while the labor in the finishing process is paid at a standard rate of $9.50 per hour. So experience in manufacturing manufacturing from other car models show that the use of labor in the assembly process is associated with 80%. And then they have given you the learning index for that. Now, in this case, note number 3, we are being told the labor usage for the first motor vehicle was 952 hours for assembly, and for the finishing was 650. Right? So it means I just need to do my analysis. So it means the examiner has already given me A, right? My A for assembly is 952 hours. Then for the finishing, my A is 650 hours. Then in note number 5, there is a very good information there. We have been told in the month of October 2014, the company manufactured the 6 and 7 cars after receiving an order from the customer who paid 4 million. The 4 million is our revenue. That is our revenue. They paid for the 2 orders, but it's a one-off order, right? Remember that. It is a one-off order. So we are being given everything there. So we are being given the learning rate, the learning index for both processes. So let us look on how we can be able to sort out this question. Let me look on the solution. So in this case, the question is very simple. So let us look on the question and we say, this question, I just need to get the total labor cost first, right? But I'm going to be using the total time formula. Y is equals to AX, B plus 1. B plus 1. So already I have been given the learning index for assembly. So in this case, that is the first thing that I can do, right? Let me see, I don't know much. So for assembly, I just say, let me take the learning index, which I'm being given, negative 0.322. Someone to give me the answer plus 1. I get there. Then the other one for finishing, I just need to take negative 0.152 plus 1. How much are we getting there? Someone show the answer.
.678 for assembly.
0.678. The second one for finishing, 0.848. Hata mimi nimepata leo 848. So let me analyze my question. So what is my A? We said is the time taken to produce the first unit. So under the assembly, my A is equals to 952 hours. 952 hours. That is my A. So what is the total labor for this? For these 2 machines, which required, because they've been told the labor usage for the first motor vehicle was that. But now remember, we are trying to produce 2 cars at a go. So in this case, I just say, to get my Y, I will take 952 times what? Someone? I need someone to try. Times what? We are dealing with assembly alone. So someone can try to someone can try. So what are we supposed to be checking there? Our X right now is Robert. My X right now is how much? Purity, right?
We're producing 2 cars.
Yes. Purity, can you give it a trial?
2.
Mm-hmm. Maura, give it a trial.
The 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm. 6 and 7, no. Thank you. Jill? Jill, give it a trial.
2.
2. Purity?
I would say 1.
Purity will say 1. We have a big problem now. Do you remember we are producing the 6th and the 7th car, right? The 6th and the 7th. So it means this is the one of order, right? So it means I need to take the 7th. I raise to 0.678. And then I subtract, because I need the time for 6 and 7. I subtract how much? 5. 0.678. Remember, you need 2 cars. So what is the time for the 6th and the 7th? It means I need to take all the 7 cars, right? Because I need 6 and 7, then I will subtract from 0 to 5 to remain with hours for 6 and 7. So someone to give me the answer here. Give me the answer. Unless there is a question. What is the answer?
$726.43.
726. Let's use 2076 hours. 726 hours. Remember, these are simply alone. Do the same to the finishing. So how is the finishing? I say the same. I say my A in this case, I'm being given 650 hours. So it means to get my Y, I'm going to be taking 650 times. Are we using the same concept, Jill? Is it true we are using the same concept as the assembly?
Yes.
Thank you. So it is 7 I raised to 0.848 minus 5, 0.848. What is the answer?
840 hours.
840.
Yes.
840 hours. Do you have the same answer? Do you have a different answer? Are we together? So if we are together now, after I determine my labor hours, I can go on and get my profit, because now I need to come up with a profit statement. You can use any word, whether it is a contribution, whether a profit statement, whatever you want. So here we have Kenya shillings. We said our revenue. Our revenue, it is undisputed, it is 4 million. Already that we know. Because there is a customer who paid for 4 million for both cars. Then we go to costs, less costs. So the first cost will be how much? The first cost will be material. Material costs. And I can see not number 1 or not number what? Not number 4, sorry. We are being told the direct material cost per motor vehicle is 400,000. So it means it is 400 times 2, because we are dealing with 2 cars. 400 times 2. Per motor vehicle material cost is 400 for both vehicles, it is 800,000. Then we have overheads. As I continue with that statement I've been told on, and other directly attributable overheads are 200 times 2 vehicles, getting 400,000. Getting 400,000. From there, we look on the labor cost now, because already you have calculated the total hours. So what is our labor cost incurred for both our departments? We start with finishing. We start with assembly, sorry. So the total hours incurred in the assembly, we have gotten 726. And not one, it has told us that the labor in the assembly process is paid at a standard rate of how much? 1,250. 1,250. So 726 times 1,250 is how much? 726 times 1,250. How much are we getting?
907,500.
907,500, right? Then we have finishing. Finishing is how much? When I look on the total hours for finishing, which is 840, we multiply by what is the rate per hour, and then we are being told why the labor in the finishing process is paid at a standard rate of, it is 950. It is 950. How much is this?
798,000.
798,000. So give me the profit or loss. What do we have? What do we have there at the end of the day?
1094,500.
294.
1094.
Pardon?
1094.
1094.
500. 500.
That is what you have given me. That is what you have given me. Any question? 8 marks. Tuko karibu kupita. Describe the limitation of management accounting. Number 1. Use of the past data can cause what? Someone will be able to find it there. You can say some MA decisions are not alternatives to administration.
Sorry?
MA decisions are not alternatives to what we require in the administrative point of view to the organization. And that is the consequential to the point where you can say, that is just an explanation to what you can say. One of the limitations, it uses techniques and tools, right, which are not alternatives to the alternatives of the organization. So that is one of the limitations. It uses past data, and you know that management accounting relies so much in the past data, and we shall be able to see that when you are doing budgeting much more. We have a lot of points there. When you are being taught to explain 3 ways in which management accounting could assist in the realization of the organization strategy, you can be able to explain the following points. In that case, you can explain budgeting, coordinating, planning, decision-making, directing, and staffing. Those are some of the points which you can be able to give out. And then already I have given you 20. You have 20 marks with you. 20, imagine 20. Kwa MA. 20 marks. Shapita mtihani. 20 marks. Shapita management accounting. Are we together to that point? Kuna mtu ameachwa mahali. Kuna mahali umeachwa? Mauro, uko sawa?
Niko sawa.
Purity, ni wewe umekuja nyuma, uko sawa?
Niko sawa.
Thank you very much. So let us shift our gears to May 2015. There is a question in May 2015. So ukiangalia exam, hata ukiangalia vizuri, ni swali inakuja each and every time. And this time Purity is reading for us. We have talked about May 2015. Question 2. Question 2B. Mimi nikiangalia today before you read this question, let me go up here. Let me see. Good. Let me go up before we read that question. Today I was able to share an handout which is going to be answering question number 1A. And I told you that topic does not miss in an exam. But niliwapea some handout hapo. So explain the role of the management accountants in the environmental management accounting. Nilikutumia handout ka environmental management accounting, and then you have 6 marks with you. 6 marks are there. So let us go here. Purity, we are waiting.
Is it question 1B?
Question 2A.
Question 2A. Jack Limited is evaluating the assembly cost of producing large LED television sets that target high-end customers in the entertainment industry. The company has just received an order for 8 new television sets. The estimated costs are as follows. The direct material cost per television set is shillings 400,000. The direct labor usage for the first television set is estimated at 2,000 hours. The direct labor cost amounts to shillings 300 per hour. Indirect manufacturing costs are predicted using 2 separate cost functions, each with its own cost driver as follows. Equipment-related indirect costs at the rate of shillings 120 per direct labor hour. Material handling related indirect cost at the rate of 50% of direct material costs. A learning effect of 85% is expected to occur. The learning index for an 85% learning curve is negative 0.2345. Jack Limited charges a profit margin of 33 and 3/4% required. The invoice price for the 8th television set.
Robert, what is this examiner wants? Robert, explain for us. Who examiner anataka nini?
Anataka kwanza tutafute profit. I don't know.
This question is very
profit. Tunafanya profit statement. Alafu
Yeye ametudanganya mtu mwingine.
you are saying
Umetudanganya. Jili huyu examiner anataka nini?
Nataka tutafute ya kuproduce the 8 sets. And then on top of that, the margin, the profit margin yenye tutamtolea invoice, tutamtolea client invoice.
Okay. Thank you, and that is correct. The examiner wants us first to calculate the total cost of producing the 8 television sets, right? And after getting the total costs, nakumbuka the concept of FR. where we used to say the margin inakuanga related to the sales, markup related to the costs. So in this case, it means the margin which I'm being given there, which is equivalent to a third, by the way. Nikirani kitu vile tulikuwa tunarun tukiwa primary huko. So it means ama secondary somewhere. So it means that is a third, because it will be 100 over 300. And then once you cancel the zero, it will be a third. We shall check on that. But when I look on this question, the important aspect is just to realize that we don't have the total labor cost. So the total labor cost, we have to get it. So where are we going to get it from? Number two, the direct labor usage for the first television set is estimated to be 2,000 hours. So it means the examiner has given me my A, which we said is the time taken to produce the first unit, the first television, which is 2,000. But here we are being told the direct labor cost amount to that. So we shall be able, after we get the total labor cost, the total hours, the total labor hours, we're going to be multiplied by the cost per hour. That is true. That doesn't have a problem. So in this case, it is very simple. What am I supposed to be doing? Let me see. Let me see what are we supposed to do. So this is what we are going to be doing. So in this question, I just be asking myself, unless the examiner, I want to elaborate on this. Unless the examiner has the average, just what this is, you can kama examiner hajiuliza the average time ama the average cost, hakuna time utaitumia kufanya anything, because every time we require the total labor cost, and therefore we're going to be using our formula for total labor cost, AXB plus 1. Nilisema hata kama ujui sana, we can be able to get your B plus 1. B plus 1, which we are taking. The examiner has given me my learning index to be negative 0.2345 plus 1. How much is this? 2.345 plus 1. You get how much? 0.7. Is this 7655? Is it something like that?
Yes.
Good. So in this case, let me ask myself, what is the total labor hours? So to ask myself this question, I just say, my A have been given 2,000 hours. The cumulative units, which is my X, we said it is 8 television sets. Very simple. So in this case, I just say my Y is equals to 2,000 times 8. You raise to 0.7655. How much is this? How much is this? 2,000 times 8, you raised for that.
98.25.
98.25 hours. So to get my total labor cost, I just need to take the total labor cost, the total labor hours, which is 1925, times Kenya shillings 300, which is the cost per labor hour. How much is this?
$29.47,500.
29.47.
500.
29.47. Nimeambiwa kitu inakaa namna 29.47,500. So let me come up with because it's a selling price, so I just need to come up with a price statement. And I know the first thing that I'm going to be doing is calculating the total cost. That is my first thing. Calculate the total cost. Start with the material cost. So the examiner has told me in note number 1 that the direct material cost per television is 400,000. Material cost. Material costs. So we are going to be having 400 times 8. Because if we are being told it's per and we are producing 8, this comes to 3.2 million. 3.2 million. From there, we are discussing about the labor costs. already tumeipata. So our labor cost, it is 29,47,500. 29,47,500. Then we have indirect manufacturing costs. So hapa tumeambiwa we have indirect manufacturing. So indirect manufacturing costs, number one, we have equipment related costs. So I can talk about equipment costs. So how much is our equipment costs? I have been told the equipment related indirect costs are the rate of 120 per direct labor hours. It is 120 times the total hours. That will be part of 98.25. What is the total here? Give me the total there. Then the material handling costs. Material cost is how much? I've been told the material handling related indirect costs are the rate of 50% of the material. So it is 50% of 3.2 million. Someone to give me this, I know. These are half of this, which is 1.6 million. So the equipment cost is how much? The equipment cost.
1179,000.
Sorry?
1179,000.
1179,000. Thank you. 1179,000. 1179,000. So from there, I can see we don't have any other cost. Let me get the total cost of production. The total cost of production. What is our total cost of production? Total cost of production. Total cost of production.
926,500.
I've been told it's 8926,500, right? 8926,500. So to get our selling price, watu wazuri najua majority of you tumepita AFR, tunapaswa kuadd nini? We add what? Add what? Ndio tupate selling price. We add what?
The margin.
It's a third. Is 33.33% of, yes, it's 926,500.
Pata potea mwingine. Na nimeeleza tu saa hii. Mtu mwingine.
It's a third. We add a third of the total cost.
That's not correct.
Nah?
Reason being niliwaambia vizuri na mimi sikumbuki FR sana, but nilisikia mahali nikiambiwa na mwalimu margin yangu ni ya sales. Markup ni ya costs of sales. So tunatumia margin ama markup.
Okay.
Tunatumia margin ama markup. These are costs.
So we should use the markup.
Jill, tutatumia nini?
Markup.
Markup.
Jill?
It's markup.
Markup.
It is a markup. So remember, examiner metupea 33 and a third percent. So this time this 99 plus 1 is 100 over 3%. So this percent, it means 100 over 300. Once you cancel your zeros, you get a third. That is your margin. So tulisema margin inakuanga kubwa kuliko markup. Therefore, you normally take your numerator, you subtract from the denominator to get your markup. So I subtract here 1. So in this case, I get a half. A half. So I just need to add my markup. I had my markup. So I take just a half of 8926,500. 8926,500. How much is this? How much is this? Mtu aniambia ukweli, what is this?
4463 250.
4463
250.
250. 250. Mauro, umeelewa hiyo concept?
Yes, nimeelewa.
Good. Purity?
Yes, we understand.
Very good. So here, give me the selling price. So even your traders ama the business people normally works on their products. Wakati unaenda kununua for example electronic equipment kama TV, alienda akaangalia the cost of production. Anachukua the cost of purchasing, transportation, modification if it requires, right? Mpaka ikafika kwake, transport and everything. So anakuambia the total cost of that asset ama that electronic equipment anakuambia ni 30,000, right? Sasa hiyo hapo kwa pale ndani for instance aje kuambia. So ikwambia the already akisha determine cost yake, the total cost ya kufikisha hiyo TV ni 30,000. Anaangalia what is my markup as per the organization's policy. Anasema mi word for example 5%. So he will take 5% of the cost, the total cost. Ana determine the selling price. So wakati wewe unaenda kununua TV anakuambia ni 35,000, wewe unamwambia niko na 30, anakuambia hawezi, is because already he determines, anasema mimi siwezi leta kitu mpaka kutoka for example importation nikuletee mpaka kwa shop alafu pia nikuuzia the same cost. No. So anakuambia hapana, hiyo huwezi. So that is how they normally work on. They take the total cost, they add the markup, and then they determine the selling price. So the selling price for these 8 televisions ni ngapi? What is our selling price?
13,389 750.
13,389
750.
750. 1389 750. That is how simple learning curve is. That is how simple learning curve is. Let us proceed. September 2015 was not there, but I know that there is a good question in May 2016. 2016, there is a question somewhere. Is it May or November? May, yes. May 2016. It is time now for Robert to read for us. So let us see. May 2016. So we don't have it here. So let me look for it. A minute.
Zima alafu iwashe. Eka poti nyingine. Toa hiyo poti yenyewe kwa sababu weka poti nyingine. Umebadilisha?
Robert is
weka
noise.
Sorry.
Now read for us.
That is question 2.
Question 1C.
1C. Oh, Spacecom Limited Spacecom Limited is about to bid on a new radar system. Although the product uses new technology, Spacecom Limited believes that a learning rate of 75% is appropriate. The first unit is expected to consume 700 hours, and the contract is for 40 units. Required, 1, the total amount of hours required to build the 40 units. Number 2, the average time to build each of the 40 units. Number 3, assuming that a worker works 28 hours per year, determine the number of workers that should be assigned to this contract to complete it in a year.
I know this is a very easy question. Someone can be able to explain to me what we are supposed to be doing to get the total amount of hours required to build the 40 units. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Someone? Maura, give it an attempt.
Time taken.
To calculate the total amount of hours, we have A
X, B plus
and
1.
we are supposed to look for B to answer the first one.
So first, let me write the formula. You have told me to write the formula, B plus 1. So the question that we are asking us today, or we are supposed to be asking ourselves today, do we have the B? Do we have the learning index? Hata before nijue X and Y. Do we have the learning index? No. We are being given the learning.
5%.
So in this case, I just say, we normally get it by taking the log of R over the log of 2. So what is our R?
75%.
0.75, thank you. Then we divide by the log of 2. So what is our B? What is our B?
Negative 0.41.
0.41.
Negative 0.41 or 42.
Negative 0.41. Give me 4 decimal places, please.
0.4150.
50, thank you. So this one I add 1. What am I getting for B plus 1?
0.5849.
0.5849. Okay. 585. It should be 85, right?
Yes, 585.
Thank you very much. So determine what is your A. And I will say my A is equals to what? My A will be, the first unit is expected to consume 700 hours. Right? And then we are being told the company 700 and the contract is for 40 units. So our X is equal to 40 units. So in this case, I just say to get my Y is equals to 700 times 40, you raised to power 0.5850. Someone to give me the answer. How many hours are this?
Sixty 57.
60-67.
60-58.
60-58 hours. Thank you. 60-58 hours. So what about the average? The examiner is asking us the average time. I just say I told you, unless the examiner is asking, it should be like this. So in this case, we just say it should be 700 times 40. You raised to power negative 0.4150. It's very simple question. How many hours? How many hours?
151 hours.
151 hours. Very good. 151 hours. Then from there, I want you to do the last one. We are being told, assuming that the worker works 28 hours per year, determine the number of workers that should be assigned to this contract to complete it in a year. So it means part C, I'll take my total hours, which is 6058 hours, which we are using for the production of all the units. Then we divide by the total hours to be worked by each worker. I've been told it's 28 hours. So how many workers do we require to work for us this year? How many workers?
3.
The workers should be 3. 3 workers. Thank you. You can see how the learning curve is very simple. 3 workers. That is how it is simple. Very simple. Very simple. But mkiangalia maswali kutoka mahali tulianzia, they are not similar. These are not similar questions. They are very different. Very different questions. From there, I think I'm supposed to be working on finalizing. Just look on November 2016 question number 2B. November 2016. November 2016. So it's my time to read, right? It's now me who is reading the question, sorry. It's me who is reading the question. So let me work on reading it. It is my turn now. November 2016. All this question will be done. So that is the question. Are we there? Are we there? So we have been told very well that Innovators Limited has designed a new model of a manufacturing machine. So the cost and sales price of the first machine to be produced has been estimated as follows. So material you are given, labor given, overhead given, profit markup given, then we have our selling price. So in this case, I've been told the company planned to sell all the machines at full cost plus 25%. So we have been told a 90% learning curve is expected to apply to the production work. Only one customer has expressed interest in buying the machine so far, but if views 87.5 million is too high a price to pay. It could buy more of the machines in the coming periods. Required number 1, if the customer above paid 87.5 million for the first machine, good. Determine the price he would have to pay later for a second machine. Someone tried to explain to me, what are we supposed to do there? Just do an attempt. I'm listening. Just try. Somebody? Just try. What are we supposed to do? Someone to explain to me? Just try. What are we supposed to do in this question? We are supposed to be calculating the total hours, yes. But what am I supposed to do? Just try. Nobody willing to try? Jill, can you try?
I think I'm supposed to get the cost of producing the first machine and the second machine.
Mhm.
And then we calculate how much the client will pay for the second one.
So when I'm calculating my total labor hours, am I supposed to be factoring what and what? Am I supposed to be taking one machine minus what, or what is the concept? Because I think the labor hours to produce the first machine I've been given there is 2,000 hours. But what is our X? Somebody to give me the X that we're supposed to use. How should it be? X should be?
I think it should be 1.
2. 2.
2, 1. Mm-hmm. Purity?
2.
2. Maura?
2 minus 1.
2 minus 1. Thank you so much. So it should be 2 minus 1 because already the first car imenunuliwa. Si nataka the second machine tutaproduce na pesa ngapi? What is the cost for the second machine? Because already the first car imeshaenda. Si ni ukweli? The first car cost 87.5 million. Remember the second machine, the second machine will not be costing 87.5 because of the adjustments that you're going to be doing in labor. And remember now, the first machine is incurring 2,000. What will be the labor cost for that second machine? The labor cost for the second machine. So in this case, let me work for the first. Let me work for the total hours for this machine. So in this case, I just say this. I'm going to be using y is equals to axb plus 1. And I'm very aware that the examiner has not given me the learning index. So in this case, my b, which we said, it is the log of r over log of 2, which will be the log of, I think is 0.9. You divide by the log of 2. So in ngapi? How much is this? How much is this?
Negative 0.152.
So our b plus 1 should be negative 0.1520 plus 1. How much is this?
0.848.
8480. Thank you. So to get my total labor cost, the A, remember our A is 2,000 hours. So it will be 2,000 you multiply by 2. You raise to 0.848 minus 1, 0.848. So what is the total labor cost? What is the total labor cost? What is the total labor hours? Sorry. What is the total labor hours?
$1,600.
Thank you very much. 1,600 hours. 1,600 hours. So in this case, what is the total labor cost? What is the total labor cost? I will take 1,600 hours times the cost per hour ni ngapi? The cost per hour? The cost per hour I could see is 15,000. Have you seen 15,000?
Yes.
15,000, have you seen it? Purity, have you seen 15,000? Jill, can you see 15,000?
Yes,
So what is the answer?
Yes. 15,000 per
24
hour.
million.
4 million.
24 million.
24 million. Thank you. 24 million. So if the customer above paid 87.5, nafuata tu hiyo concept yake. Nitasema, let's look on the selling price because we are looking on the price statements. So in this case, we have a column of Kenyan shillings there. Right? You have the column of that there. So what am I supposed to do? So I'm going to be factoring material costs. Material cost in this case is 25 million. So our labor cost tumepata, which is 24 million or so. Then we have any other? We have the overhead costs. The overhead cost, which is 50%. So 50% of labor costs, I think, is 12 million. That is the overhead. So let us get the total costs. What is our total cost?
61,000.
61,000.
Yes.
61,000. Add your markup. Add your markup.
Yes, 25%.
What is your markup? The markup we are being given is 25% of that, of the total cost. So 25% of 61.
15 to 50.
15 to 50. So the price anapaswa kulipa ni pesa ngapi? So what is the selling price?
76 to 50.
76 to 50 million. 250,000, sorry. 76 to 50,000. That is the cost for the second machine. When you look at it, you compare the first machine was a 7.5. The second machine was 86. Those are the effects of the learning curve, and therefore that is why you see the cost for the second machine has reduced. Now let us go to part 2. Part 2. We are being asked, advise the management of Innovators Limited on the price quotation per machine if the customer above places an order for the third and fourth machines as a single order. Advise the management of Innovators Limited on the price quotation per machine if the customer above places an order for the third and fourth machines. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do here? Somebody to try. Purity. What is my x?
4 minus 2.
Sorry?
4 minus 2.
Thank you. 4 minus 2. The means here, it will change to be 4 minus 2. The reason being, I'm going to be purchasing the fourth. Sorry, I'm going to be placing an order for the third and fourth. Those are single order. And then I want to subtract the second to know what is the remaining hours to produce the third and fourth machine. Very good. Very good. So let me eliminate this. Don't cancel these from your books. So nothing different from that. So in this case, we are being told that you're going to be placing an order for the third and fourth as a single order. So it means you eliminate the first and the second machines. So what is the total labor hours here? Labor hours ni ngapi in this scenario? Purity? Purity, what is the total labor hours here?
2880.
2880. 2880 hours. So what is our total labor cost again? It means it will be 2880 times then 15,000. Getting how much? Kenya shillings?
$43,200.
200,000.
Yes.
Like that. Now, in this case, remember we are placing an order for 2 machines here. So in this case, the material cost per machine was 25 million. So you multiply by 2 because we are dealing with 2 machines. So this will be equivalent to 50 million. Labor cost you have told me is 43,200,000. Overhead cost is how much? Is it 21,600,000? Someone to confirm that, and then you give me the total. What is the total there?
$114,800.
Sorry?
114,800.
114,800,000. Add your markup of 25% or a quarter. A quarter of 114,800,000. How much? Sema mbio mbio tukalale. How much is this?
28,700.
28?
700.
Something like that. Is it okay?
Yes.
So what is our selling price?
$143,500,000.
141.
43.
Jill, give me the answer.
143,500.
Thank you. That is what we are supposed to be paying per for the two machines, because we have been told that when the management of innovators limited on the price quotation per machine. So if it is per machine, what am I supposed to do? You just need to take 143
Divided by 2.
500,000 divided by 2. How much is this? Kenya shillings.
71,750.
71,750. 71,750. 71,750. Are we together to that point?
Yes.
So before we conclude, I just want to give some assignments. Just want to give you assignments for what we'll be doing over the week, the whole of next week. Nzuri sana you pambana nazo. And then don't leave until we talk. We need to talk also. So the problem that I'm going to be giving you are here. So when you look at it here, so when you look on some few questions which are remaining in that perspective of yours for the learning curve, we have a question on May 2017. May 2017, question number 2. And when you look on the question 2A, there is a question for environmental management accounting. So I need you to be attentive to that handout I gave out. So question 2B. Question 2B. Then we have another question for the learning curve. We have another question for the learning curve on, I think it should be November 2018. November 2018, question number 5C. Question 5C. Let me look at what was happening on 2019. We look on 2019, what was happening there. I will not be able to give that. It is tutaifanya tukifanya variances. So May 2019, don't mind about it. We look on November. November, they were very lucky. Hawakupatana na shida za learning. 2020, check on 2020 baadaye, 2021 May. Have you tried to open in 2021 from your side? Do you have any question for Lanika there? No, May 2021, nothing. We go to August. Do you have any question for Lanika for August? August pia wakuipata. Thank you. For December we have one. December we have one. Question number . So December we have December 2021. Question number 2B. December 2021, question 2B. I think last semester mkupatana nayo. Ndio. Mkumbuki what came.
Mutiso,
Yes.
wacha kutuenjoy.
Mkumbuki ili nini ilikuja?
Wacha kutuenjoy. Unatunesha kidonda.
Hali ya maisha.
Sawa tu.
None. So these are the 3 questions which are remaining. So this is our assignment. That is our assignment. 3 questions remaining. So I'm expecting us to be able to look on them, and then later on